It's been a couple of days since I did the first couple of videos on my pickups, and I never actually came back to these UPS units that I got. But I got the pair of them for a £5. There's a white Smart UPS 1400 and a Smart UPS 1500 in black, which is actually in that box. Now what I have done is I've taken them apart and repaired the black one, or as I think repaired it, because somebody had pulled the front panel off on the front, and the cable that connects the board in the front panel with the LEDs and buttons on had been broken, so we had to take the front panel off, resolder a new ribbon cable to this and to the board inside, and it seems to be working, but the old batteries were leaking acid. Only this unit actually had batteries in it, the other one didn't have anything inside of it, so I've thrown them away. The other one didn't have no battery pack either, which means I had no battery connector. That was in the black one, but luckily they both use the same type of connector, and I was able to pick up a fuse, which is right here, a 100 amp 32 volt fuse. If it'll focus, that is. It says 100 amp 32 volt anyway, you have to trust me on that. And this Anderson Power Products connector with the cables on it, which is what plugs into the unit. That goes to the terminals on one end of the battery, and then the fuse goes over the other side. And I've got two of them now. Luckily one of them was on eBay just at the right time as I looked that night after I got the units. So I've managed to pick up a second one. Now I've got some replacement batteries here which I ordered, which have just arrived today. Let's move some of this. In this box here. Now I've got a set of batteries, the same make as ones that are similarly replaced in a Smart UPS for a 750 unit, I think it is. And I've actually got some nuts and bolts there with them, which I didn't know I'd be getting, but there we go. There's no protectors on the terminals though, which is strange. I thought they always came with them. I've never had batteries this big before though. The UASA, I think that's how it's pronounced anyway, 18 amp hour, or 17.2, 12 volts. And these I'm going to put together and use them as to test both of the units. If they both work, I'll order another set, but these are quite expensive compared to the batteries for my other unit, and they're also a lot bigger. The batteries for my other unit were a lot smaller. And it had a set of these in and they didn't leak or anything, and they were 7 years old and they were still performing quite well. This is the old battery from my other unit. So they're much smaller, they're only 7 amp hour. But these had plastic over the terminals, which I would have expected these to have on them, but obviously not. They still work, but they're not great, them batteries. Hopefully these should be good. I can't remember what make was in, I think they were Young or something, or Long, but they were just black things, and they were leaking acid around the top edges here that came out of the unit. And they were in this white one here, which is actually still a bit marked underneath where it's leaked through. I'll just turn it over. You can sort of see where the acid was leaking out. I'll give it a clean, but it's still a bit marked. It should still work well, hopefully. This has only got 4 outputs on the back, the other one's got about 8 or 10. And it's only serial connection as opposed to the one that's got USB. Now I want the black USB 1500 one to put on my computer, because that's like 1000 watts. Whereas at the moment I'm using a, you can't really see it, but it's a back UPS 900 Pro, which is only about 480 watts. And my computer actually draws around about that amount of power when it's under a graphics card and CPU full load, because it has an i7 3930K and a GTX 980 in it. So once that thing gets going, it draws quite a bit of power, so it's not ideal. I'm also running my 4K monitor off it. So yeah, what I'm going to do is get these out, bolt them together and see if the units work, if they charge them, do a load test on them, see how long they'll run for under probably about 250-300 watt load, and then I'll see on the second one, and if they're both working I'll probably order another set of batteries. So I'm going to go do that now. Those new screws and nuts might come in handy because some of these are actually quite corroded, where the batteries have been leaking. One of the batteries from the other unit were completely dead, but one was holding some sort of voltage. But it's obviously best to replace them both at the same time. I've also only got one set of these plastic covers, so when I come to do the second one, I'm going to have to make something, probably. Use some old piece of plastic or something. Maybe put some tape over the terminals so they don't short out to the casing, because I've only got one set of these plastic things. I'm going to install these on the batteries now and see how I'm going to attach them together, because I'm obviously going to have to tape them together so they don't come apart. Okay, so I've got the cabling on at one end, and what you want to make sure is that these are really tight so you don't get any shorts or anything on them. Now next I've got to do the fuse, which is here, that's going on the other side, but I'm making progress. Side note, you've got to put the fuse on the inside and not the outside, otherwise the battery might not fit back in the unit. So make sure you put the screws through from the bottom and then put the nuts on the top on the inside of the battery. Also for this part, maybe a smaller set of pliers would come in handy because I can't quite grip the nut on it, so yeah. Okay, I've got the fuse installed nice and tightly on the batteries there. If the camera would focus, there we go. And the wires are installed on this end, all nice and tight, connected over here. I think we're about ready to put the plastic pieces over the top, stick them down with something, and then put them inside the unit. It looks like it might be a better idea to tape the batteries together and then put the caps on, because there's a bit of give between them. I know this could probably use tightening a little bit more once they're taped together, just so they're packed a little tighter, because they're a bit loose at the moment. Okay, so I've gone around them with sellotape and quite a few times, so they're nice and strongly stuck together all the way around, so they don't come apart now. They are together. Now I just need to tighten this up, but closer, so it doesn't have as much moving and about on it. And then I might go over the top with tape on them, but I'm not sure, I don't know if it'll need it. Then I'll put these over the top and just put a piece of tape over them to keep them in place. Okay, I've tightened the fuse up nice and tight and the wires so there's no move in them at all. So we should be good now to put the plastic caps over. Okay, these wires need adjusting slightly so they'll fit through the hole. Just let me do that. Perfect. The plastic fits in place and the wires come out of it now. Just need to fix that on there and put one over the fuse. Okay, but the best way to fix this into position was by going around the whole battery pack in that sense and keeping it there, because I couldn't really go around because of the wires sticking out on this side obviously. But making progress now, just got to do that on the other side and we're done. Okay, that's both pieces of plastic taped over, and now I've got one damn heavy battery pack that I need to plug into this unit, so I'm going to pop the front off, stick it inside and see if she powers up. Something else with these units is they actually have screws to remove it, whereas my other one just has two sort of pull pins on my 750. So that's different, but maybe it's because of how much more the batteries weigh and how much stronger and bigger the units have to be to accommodate for that. Okay, I've got the front panel off. Here's the insides of the unit. I'm starting with the 1400 because if this works, I'll order batteries for it, and if the 1500's working, if the 1500's working as well when I try it, these batteries are staying in that and it's going under the desk on my computer. So I'm just going to try this one first, fully charge it, fully discharge it, perform a runtime test on it, check it's all fine, and then I'm going to go to the 1500, do the same, and if the 1500 and 1400 are both passed, I'll order another set of batteries and put them in this one. Here's the connector for the batteries. What I'm going to do first though is get a meter on these batteries and just double check that the voltage is coming out right. Got the meter out, and I'm just going to test what volts we're getting from the battery pack. Put 1 meter in here, 1 in here, and we're getting 25.7 volts or thereabouts. That's great. Should be getting about 24 volts, and there we go. Also, a side note, if you ever get one of these units and you plug it into the mains and it does nothing, like acts completely dead, that'll be because the batteries are completely flat that's inside it. I had that problem with the 1500, I thought it was a fault with it, and it turns out it was just because the batteries are completely flat. because when I hooked up two other batteries and put 24 volts into there, it came on and started working, functioning, trying to charge the batteries, etc. So yeah, you need a good set of batteries to check if they're working properly. So moment of truth, I'm about to plug the batteries in. Front panel can stay off, I'm just going to leave them outside of the case for now. Put the batteries together and see what happens. So here we go. Batteries are clipped in. Nothing's gone wrong yet, so far. Let's try and turn the unit on. Obviously it'll need recalibrating, but there's the fan. Seems good. I think we need a power cable next to try this, which I just so happen to have over here. Oh, it doesn't seem to be beeping constantly now. Oh, okay. Plug in mains with the safety socket. The mains cable in. And the mains on. Oh. I believe we're now charging the batteries. The fan's cut out. We just have a small humming noise from the transformer. Not sure if you can quite hear that. And we seem to be charging. All seems well at the moment. So we'll just have to leave it for a while, maybe plug a load in as well to check that this is power coming out of the unit. Going to check the voltage coming out of the back, and then I've also got this here, which is just a 50-watt light bulb. Basically a halogen lamp. Let's set it to there. Now we'll go with that one. Oh, I don't think they're open until us. You're getting 244, 245 volts out. Switch on to batteries. There goes the fan. Try again with the meter. It's 231 volts. So the voltage seems to be coming out fine. Let's plug in the lamp. This other one we can see if it... I'm not sure if the load's actually going to show up with it only being 50 watts. But we'll try. Nope, you don't see anything. The lamp's working though. Turn it on and charge. I think we'll just leave it to charge up for a while, and then I'll have to get obviously a larger load to try it properly, and then perform a runtime recalibration and see what happens. I'm going to leave it to charge up then, and the current time is 12:40, so we'll see how long it takes to charge to 100% or 95% or whatever that indicator is. I believe that's about 94-95% for a full battery indicator. Well, it's apparently charged. The top charge LED is a bit dull. I've had to nip out though, so I couldn't tell you exactly how long it took to charge. But it's now gone 4 o'clock. Up next I'm going to have to put a load on it of about 30% and run it down, see how long it lasts. Yeah, all seems good. Batteries aren't getting warm or anything. Alright, it's been a while, but I finally got a chance to load out the UPS and do a runtime test. It's now just coming up to 8:30. Now, a bit of a problem putting a load on it because I couldn't find enough stuff to load it out. What I've got at the minute is two of these par 56 cans with 120 watt bulbs in each one. Hardly doubt you can read it, but well. Come back, there we go. And this 50 watt random light that's here. Each of the par cans are pouring on 130 watts, which I've tested, and also this light here which we're putting 50 watt on. I've tested them each using the LCD screen on my back UPS Pro 900 down there, so I know what load is on it. It gets just the first light on, but I'm only going for about 30% load. It's an 150 watt unit, so that should be about right. And now I need to do a runtime test, which is basically where I pull the power out and leave it to run down to flat, and it'll recalibrate itself and give me how long the unit will last before flattening out, basically. So to do that, basically just turn the unit off and let it die. It just runs these lights now until it dies. I'm plugged into the back, the fan's going on the side. The battery indicator's already missing one bar. Remembering the time is now 8:30. We'll see how long it runs for. Should be interesting. So it just this second died. $9.27. Those are some damn good batteries. It goes charging. Okay, so 1400 model is done. Left it to charge overnight again. It goes on the self-test. Finish your self-test. All good. What I'm going to do next is throw them batteries in this one and test this one out. And if this one's all good as well, this is going on my computer today. So I'm going to switch the batteries over now and do that. Here you can see the replacement wire job that was done. It's just a old ribbon cable as opposed to this one that had been ripped off inside it. Okay, the batteries are in the 1500. Turn it up. With the fan on low. Like a crack in the front as well. Or a scratch, okay. That was the self-test. Now it's charging. It seems to think the batteries are only charged to 2 bars though. Oh, maybe the fan turning down. I'm going to self-test again. There we go. Okay. Get my meter and test the voltage coming out. Right, voltage test time. I believe that they're all the same. You can't really see them because there's no bloody light here, but I don't think any of them are switched. 245 volts. Sensitivity LED as well. You'll have to read the manual for the settings for that. The other one's got it as well. I don't know if it works the same way. I'm gonna also try and hook it up to my laptop and open PowerShoot and see if I can manage it there. It's found it. Right, let's try and log in. Okay. Smart UPS 1500. Manufacture date the 12th of the 12th, 2009. Battery replaced 12th of the 12th, 2009. I need to change that. UPS done. Online. Internal temperature 22.5 degrees. Output voltage 20. For 243.3. 50 Hz, no load. Battery status is normal, 30% charged apparently. Let's change this to, oh, not 2017, God, we're not that far ahead. April the 9th it was replaced, yesterday. Diagnostics, self-test, run one now. Okay, it still says unknown. I imagine it passes nonetheless. UPS calibration last on 6th of the 3rd. Okay, well I'm going to leave this to charge up now and see what happens. Okay, the unit's charged. I've got my load connected. 220 watt bulbs and a 50 watt bulb directly into the back. Also got the monitor here that shows it has a 33% load, 33.1%, which is about good. The battery status is up at 100%. It says it's going to have about 39 minutes, but this is where we test that, recalibrate it and work out if that's actually correct. So what I'm going to do is close out of this, unplug it from the computer, and now just run it flat. So how long it lasts for? It's now 11:30 AM. So how long it runs for? I've already lost one bar of the battery graph. And we're about to lose the second light. It can decide whether it wants to or not. I think it's gone. Yep. Well, it's just died. The second now. It's now 12:30. That's an hour there, some damn good batteries. Now I need to let it charge up again. Shouldn't turn back on until the power's been on for 60 seconds and it's charged to 15% anyway. But I'm going to let this charge up again, and yeah, that's good. I'm impressed with that. I'm going to switch on my other UPS and put that on my computer now. There goes the fan for charging circuits and stuff.